Right.
We need to do some kind of introduction.
We're back. Where have you been?
Where have you been? Yeah, we haven't done a YouTube for a long time now.
What have we been doing since Milwaukee? Walk us through, like, where... I know it was a while ago.
Well, first of all, like, what was it, 2 weeks before Milwaukee?
It was more like 3 or 4.
Maybe 3 or 4 weeks before Milwaukee. I was just doing a standard long run, and during it I got some pain in my Achilles and didn't think anything of it because I've not felt that before, especially the foot that I was feeling it from. So just presumed it'd go away. Didn't. That week ended up cutting the track workout we were going to do. Very stressful. Then was like, oh god, now I've got an Achilles thing.
Then 3 weeks before Milwaukee, just managing your Achilles, so we cut those workouts short
With a little bit of drama.
Just a lot of stress and drama around the whole thing.
Time that
But you're running on the lever for quite a bit. You got it, seeing PT Lawrence getting worked on, and we got it to a pretty good place before Milwaukee where it was just very mild, barely noticeable.
But I was totally unsure if it would really get painful again during the race. I was really unsure and kind of stressed about running even in Milwaukee. Ran the race, was fine. Obviously I felt it on the pre-race run before with strides. But yeah, during the race it was fine. After the race I could barely walk. I was
definitely aggravated it during the race, which was a bummer. I mean, you're in really good shape leading up to that point, and even Milwaukee running on we did 3 weeks of just lever running prior. You still had a pretty solid run. So it's just a lot of what ifs leading into that event. But then obviously after you kind of re-injured it or really just flared it up a lot. And the next day we left to go to St. Moritz for training camp, and we didn't have the lever with us.
Yeah,
we didn't bring it.
Probably should explain what the lever is.
Yeah, lever. So I don't know if people are familiar with an Alter G or anti-gravity treadmill. It's a device that allows you to run on the treadmill, but remove, it just lifts you up a little bit so you can take off percentage of body weight.
Fast forward, get to St. Moritz, and I'm still managing it. It was really bad when I first started.
Every time you tried to run fast, seems like it re-aggravated the spot that was kind of flared up.
Which I was also probably babying it when I'm running, easy. I would kind of not run normally when I'm running uphill because it was way worse running uphill.
The goal was to try to get it to a place similar to Milwaukee, and we figured if you could settle it down enough, you could go until 70.3 Worlds and still have a solid run. Obviously, you wouldn't have been run training to 100% of your ability, but you could still have a solid run, and your swim and bike was going really well. And still have a solid performance even though you're dealing with a little injury. How was your training in St. Moritz? What'd you think of St. Moritz? It's the first time we've been there and trained there.
Oh my God, St. Moritz is one of the most beautiful places in the world to train. Honestly, perfect kind of vacation for me, training.
It happened to coincide with Budapest World Championships a couple weeks after as well. So there were just runners all over the place.
I'm sure knows every runner.
So you see all the guys and girls that are going to be racing in World Championships, it just felt like a lot of fun energy, people getting ready to do their biggest races of the year when we were there, and the weather was absolutely perfect every day.
Daniela said when we caught up in Finland, she said, you had an atypical weather there, because we were we're gonna do this every year, this is amazing.
And overall it's just an amazing place to train. We didn't even get to explore half the climbs or the things we'd want to do because we were pretty focused on time trial efforts and getting ready for 70.3 Worlds, and there's all these amazing climbs just all in and around St. Moritz. Definitely want to go back and do more of a training block there where you can just go up and down all the climbs, do a lot of those long runs because there's a lot of fun running and climbing there. So Let's talk about Finland. How'd you feel going into Finland, and were you excited to get to Finland to race, or what were you thinking?
I mean, it's hard to like think back to it now just because I just tried to move on from it so easily. I was just so unsure of my Achilles, and it's like that was kind of my whole focus. And even you were being like, why are you not confident? You should have confidence.
Well, the swimming and biking was probably the best it's been all year, so...
Yeah, have been going really well. Outwardly, I'm still thinking, well, okay, I'm just going to have, a good swim, a good bike, and then see what happens on the run. But obviously in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get to some point of the run and can't run. Race day comes and I have terrible swim, terrible bike for no reason other than I think it was just like mentally hard, not knowing what the run was going to be, that I just, like, to me, the analogy I come up with is like when you're like going around a corner, it's like what if you look into the apex of the corner, that's exactly where you're going to go. And I feel like that was me come race day, of like, I'm just thinking about the run and not being able to run, that I almost like made myself that I couldn't run.
I mean, it seemed like a stressful week, even though you're in good shape, you're ready to go. Yeah. Your swimming bike should have been significantly better than your performance on the day. But I think just the entire time we were in Finland, there was just a lot of stress, a lot of tension, and
bikes didn't arrive, which is fine. They said it was going to come the next day. We didn't miss anything. Yeah.
But it just
but then I didn't get to see the
top of
course
itself.
And all the other things, like already I'm dealing with this, all of this other stuff can't be going wrong.
Yeah, and I just think essentially all these things compound and you get overwhelmed, and then you go into race day and it's just, you're thinking so much about, will I run or can I run? And when is my Achilles gonna start hurting? Yeah. Am I gonna injure myself even worse? And it just leads to subpar performance everywhere across the board.
Yeah.
And a penalty. You want to talk about your penalty?
Not really. Well, I totally deserve that penalty. I'll be the first one to say it. I was like, in no man's land, way of the bag. After, you kind of mentally kind of give up a little bit, I think, when, you're just disappointed in yourself and just having this like negative loop that goes on in your head. And I got, passed by people that I wouldn't even normally see in a race, and somebody couldn't kind of go all the way through, and I got frustrated, so I just like repassed straight away. And the referee was right there, so I obviously got a penalty for it because I didn't like come out of the space to then repass. But then when I come and roll up to the penalty tent, there were like
It's like
6
a party
people in there. And I was like, oh thank God, I just needed to see somebody and speak to them. So it was kind of fun just to like, see some people in there. But bad day all round.
But what are some of the like lessons learned from going into a race with a Achilles and like trying to conceal your Achilles injury?
Well, for one, I think I'm not one of those athletes that can like deal with everything inside and like project that I'm okay on the outside and be like,
but that's what you go
we're
to
ready to
all
race.
The time.
Well, I mean, it's not that I want, because I like being just an open book, but you almost feel compelled to, whether it's like the athlete advantage of not giving stuff away, or disappointing the people behind you, your sponsors, and whereas like I didn't need to tell people in Milwaukee and it ended up fine, but then maybe if I'd been more open about it then, but then also do people see it as excuses and stuff, which then you come out a week later and be like, oh, my Achilles was bothering me, and then that looks like a freaking excuse. So I mean, even with you though, I find myself like I take the ostrich approach a little bit sometimes, even with myself, that I'm like, if I say it out loud, it makes it like more real, and it like I'm giving it more attention, and it's hard for me sometimes to even like really, I don't even realize I'm doing it.
Yeah, you just want to avoid it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But that's not really a great strategy when you're trying to race at the top of the top level, especially at a world championship. So it just sucks because any other race we just would have skipped it. But Worlds, you're trying to get through, trying to see if you can make something happen. And in the end, the lesson is that the stress is way more of a performance inhibitor than the injury actually was. And then straight from Worlds, we flew back to the UK. We got married the week after, which was it was a highlight of the year for me anyway, and I'm sure
Obviously
you too. But so in a good way, it was nice that it was right after Worlds, so where you could just move beyond Worlds and start focusing on...
Like, I didn't even want to pick my bike out of transition because I was like, I literally just want to get on the plane, and we left the next day. And it was like, okay, we're getting married now. This is like
the focus.
Bigger life stuff.
Yeah. Now we're back in Boulder. Got what you always say is your favorite time of year in training, which is base phase. Why do you like base phase so much compared to mid-season training and like the race season?
I enjoy this time of training. That is just the goal, getting fitter, and I obviously just love what I do. I love swim, bike, and run. Now I can run pain-free.
So how's the Achilles?
Yeah, it's just been like steadily improving, and now, touch wood, I don't feel it.
So what's next? What do we have coming up?
TBD for this year, right?
Just back to training, really. See how you feel. Potentially look at late season races, but mostly it's just play by ear. See how you feel over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and if you feel like racing, maybe we'll look at the schedule and find something.
Well, I love the Bahrain trip that we do every year. Obviously, we spend time with the team and everything. So if I have some fitness in like a few weeks, give
it a 3 to 4 weeks.
Then I think we'll make the call whether I race that or not. But I don't want to rush and get ready for that. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Cool. So we took quite a bit of time off YouTube.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mental detox. But also just a mental detox of celebrating after getting married and sorting out your Achilles. And hopefully now that we're back training, we will be just get more consistent updates. Back on it. And let everyone know what we're up to. So until next time, Holly, give us a sign off. All right.